Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Cloudy Sheep, and we are playing Command, Modern Air and Naval Operations. We are in the middle of a big fight over here. We just started our game. It's been running for 15 minutes, and it looks like we are already engaging a couple of units. So, all in all, down here we have a couple of contacts. So, we know that there are a couple of ships around, even though we lost track of them. By a bit, so I think whereas we told this guy here to dive a bit deeper, just so we aren't detected when we come in. I think we'll have to go up to periscope depth again, just so we can get a better look at how things are looking here. We basically know it's two times these huge anti-ship frigates, I guess, but guided missile frigate. So. Yeah, kind of dangerous units. They do have twin launchers, but they are not an immediate danger to our ships. We also have a very suspicious contact over here, which is a submarine. That much we know. It's heading somewhat north. It's doing that at a typical submarine speed, but we don't know its depth. So we are very much considering this to be a hostile threat for now. We do have one of our own submarines over here, which will hopefully try to intercept that as well. There are a couple of units which we suspect to be fighters down here. They have typical fighter speeds, and we also know that there are some F-16s over here, and these are the immediate threat over us. You can see a lot of things are going on, and I'm going to remove some of the map settings over here, namely the surface sensors, the underwater sensors, the surface weapons, and the land and underwater weapons. So it's a bit clearer what's going on here, at least a tiny bit. Our situation is that we have four units streaming sort of towards the direction south here. All of these are F-18 Hornets, pretty good units, I would say, all in all. But we had a severe disadvantage over here, in that we are facing these F-16s, and the F-16s are carrying what I very much suspect is these AIM Sparrow 3s, and they actually have a range of 55 miles, whereas our furthest range is 40 nautical miles. So that's a bit of a problem, and you can see that here as well. This is probably the range of the enemy, whereas this here is our engagement range. They're also speeding towards us very quickly, so I think they are on afterburners, and I think we just decrease our speed here a bit, but I think here we'll probably also go to afterburners, just so we can close in a bit more quickly and fight in a bit more favorable setting. We also have this Hawkeye group over here, and some very probable unfriendly, and I'll mark them as hostile units down here that are basically on the ground. So either probably radar or something along these lines, or even anti-air missiles. So we also need to make sure that we don't get too close. There's a big advantage that we do have in this face-off situation here, though, and that is our MRAMs here over here. They have an active radar seeker, so these are, to some extent, fire and forget weapons. You have to steer them towards the target for quite a while, but then you can, on the last sort of close-in range, they can do that on their own. And that is very important, because if we compare this to these guys and the AIM-7, we do know that the AIM-7 here is semi-active. So this needs to be guided in by a radar system that illuminates the target for them. And that will be very important because, can we see that maybe? These guys need this AN/APG 68, and if we look at the sensors, this guy over here, it does have a decent range, but maybe we can disrupt them before that. So our basic goal will be to burn in very, very hard and just try to intercept them, and just try to cross this threshold very quickly and then try to kill them. And they'll need to come closer to us to keep on illuminating our guys, and we just hope and kind of pray for the best that this will work out. The second guy is now on afterburners. This guy I think we will put on military as well, just so it's also closing in relatively fast. Alright then, let's go ahead. Edging closely, edging, and you can see we are really far away. These guys are now at a range of 77 miles. It's really not enough. This is, by the way, a target I would really like to kill, this Orca. It's a high value target. These guys here are on afterburners now, are very, very quick, sort of closing in more quickly. These guys also come in. I don't think they have active radar. Yeah, 2 seconds ago. Maybe every now and then they do. But that's certainly a very, very dangerous situation. Let's make sure we are monitoring the situation down here. There's another goblin. By the way, this might or might not be a submarine. We don't know. It could also be an artifact. Underwater contacts are very, very prone to give false information. So, since these guys are closing in with our fighters, I think very, very likely, and they switched on the 68 raid over there, that they very, very likely are actually in a fighter loadout, and they do have the AIM-7. So as soon as we get here, I think these guys will also just need to close in very quickly. And I think these guys will try to intercept them a bit more towards that direction. So right, and you can see just the dramatic difference. We will very, very soon, and they will be able to fire at us, whereas we really still, right there we are. So now that we are in range, I'm going to put them on afterburner, just so we can make sure that we close in very, very quickly. You can see them build up speed over there. And they probably already launched. Maybe not. Slight course correction. Just come on, guys, burn. Because we really need to get off our missiles so they at least bang and sort of turn around. So we can make sure that these guys are being dealt a decisive blow. Right. Right, stop. Here we go then. These guys haven't yet fired on this guy. And that is because this guy, you can see it, they have, this is the maximum range, and if these guys would now turn around, probably they could outrun our missile and it would just not work. But because I am very worried that they have already launched at us, and I really want them to turn around so that they don't, that they can't guide in their missiles, I'm going to manually order an attack over here. Why is that not possible? Oh no, they have already allocated their missiles over there, so I think they'll probably very, very soon launch. Yeah, there we go. Pause for a second, just so I can explain what's going on. Oh, weren't we hostile before? Oh, I think we were probably. And so maybe they weren't set to hostile before, but you can see now that this guy got a little 1 next to it, towards it, so that means there's 1 missile on the way to it, which is of course this guy over here with a very, very high speed, high altitude, and I think it's going even higher to get some energy going. And there's the second missile also going towards that guy. our second fighter is now launching against this guy. And I think there should be a second missile very, very soon. There we go. This guy has now lit up red, and that means that we can see that they are... Can we see that here? No. That they are now probably establishing a firing solution. So they are actually painting us and trying to attack us. But let's hope that our missiles are there before them. Right. That was the notification of this missile being launched here. We don't know much about it. We just saw that this guy basically just saw visually a contrail. A contrail detected, so there's a missile coming towards us. We don't know which one, but yeah, at this range I'm pretty confident that it's an AIM-7. We might also want to have a look at the possible loadout options here. So these are the typically selected loadouts, and they're probably running one of these two selections over here, because they have these long-range weapons. This could not possibly have been a Sidewinder, so this really must be an AIM-7. They either have two, they probably have two of these, and a couple of Sidewinders too. Either 4 or 2. We aren't too sure about that. Our own guys here have 6 Sidewinders, so maybe we'll just try to close in and get into knife fighting range and see to kill them. Let's briefly look at their agility. 4.9, I think ours was 4.5. So they are probably the better dogfighters, but then again, you know, we have backup coming in here, so let's correct that a bit, but hope that should be fine. You can see more missiles being launched. This is probably here. Yes, it is actually, which isn't much of a surprise. But then again, if our missiles are there before they are, that would be swell. We can see them rising up. Ours are too. We could start a run and try to get away from these missiles, but then again, their range is so much better than ours that I don't think that would be very, very advisable. You can also see that they launched actually kind of late, which might be because they before that haven't really seen us, which I don't quite believe, but I think it's been more because they've been said to be more pessimistic, so that we don't run away from them and then just are. Yeah, brilliant. You can see this guy's starting to turn in a bit, and that I believe will mean that. Do we have all the map settings that I want? Surface weapons, air sensors, zone elimination vectors. Yes, all targeting vectors, all. I think for targeting vectors, selected unit is fine. So that's fine, yeah. I really hope that there's air search radars, that these guys, without any guidance, will, yeah, probably pop off. You can see that now this guy has started an active sensor lock, which means that it will probably soon spot these guys and home in on them. I don't think that we'll be able to get them. Of course, we closed in, but they are now running sort of away from our missile, so I think we might actually see that that our missiles aren't affecting them, because they'll probably launched at extreme end of our range, which of course was deliberate, so they do turn away, which I find very, very lovely. But yeah, this guy will probably run out of juice very, very soon. But he might just be able to make an engagement. Let's see. There we go. So this is the result here. The Falcon tried to place decoys, so it placed generic chefs here, and is attempting to well, jam this thing basically. There's a low chance of this succeeding, and indeed it failed. So yeah, that's no worth. But then our weapon here tried to attack with a base hit chance of 90, and that is adjusted for the distance. We launched at pretty much extreme end, so 65. The target speed is very high, so that gets further degraded, and the agility, again, at regular proficiency, means that there are a couple of more effects, and the missile sort of came in from the rear, so all of these things factored in together and meant that we only had a 36% chance of really scoring a hit, and yeah, we actually missed. So that's rather unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We didn't really expect that to help us out more, but you can see here things are closing still in. Let's wait a second and see what's going on here as well. So, over here. Yeah, they again deployed decoy, again with a very low probability, but they were actually very successful. So this guy has actually prevented all incoming fire, and then this guy actually launched another missile at these guys. So for now, these guys, I think, will turn around and run, because I don't really want these guys to be fighting out with the sidewinders over here, even though ours are probably a bit better. They have a higher agility and so on, so I don't really want this to result in a fight, especially since we do have these guys over here with have a couple of more long-range weapons, and we do now probably outrange these guys. I keep on hitting space to start and resume, so that sometimes scrolls this down. Again, our weapon here missed, so that's unfortunate. We're fine. Another missile, no contrail detected. So where is it actually? Missile detected by eyeball at 14 nautical miles. Where? Oh, also we should keep on checking down there. What's going on? That all looks fine though. Do we know about more? Yes. No. We do not. Where's this missile? Oh yeah, it's over here. So this guy at the last possible moment launched another missile. Let's see if this guy finally hits. It did not, and that was because, again, the chance to hit was actually kind of low. But yeah, there we have it. Now there's a missile coming in. These guys are firing their missiles off towards there. This guy is trying to turn around, but I think due to the effects there, that will probably be fine. Let's see. Another missile. Probably down here as well. Yeah. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Right now. Let's look at these guys. They are now at a speed of 480, whereas these guys are still on afterburners, so I think we'll be able to run them off. And because every time you are running away from a missile, you also want this guy to... Yeah, there are more missiles coming in, they just need to start firing them. Every time you run away from a missile, basically it degrades your ability to fight. So we'll have these guys swing around again and then just try to engage them with sidewinders actually. Would you kindly fire off your weapons? Engage defensive, so these guys are now starting to run away from these missiles, which is a bit bad, but... Really? You just ran by this guy? Wait, I think we just made a hit. So, right, there we go. There's another AMRAAM trying to attack someone. The decoy nearly got us. It rolled to 20, but it would have needed 15 or below, so it didn't spoof it, and we had a final hit chance of 45%, and rolled to 31, so that was a hit, which is very great, because I also think that means that these missiles up here will very soon drop, because they would actually need some active guidance, and they don't have that anymore. That's very lovely. This guy here just shot by its target, so it's attempting a retargeting now. We'll probably do some spin motion, I'm not too sure about that. And these guys are now trying to launch on this guy, but I think if we were to manually try that, you can see that the altitude is larger than the weapon's snap down ability. So let's have a look at these guys. They are at a very low, they're very low, they're flying at well, basically 800 meters or so, and our sidewinders here only are able to engage within a certain target altitude is fine, but I think it's the difference between the launch platforms that is a bit of a problem here. So our guys here are kind of high, these guys are kind of low, so could you actually come back there? And you will therefore need to go to medium altitude, so I think that should be fine then. And also, you know what, I think you guys can actually, in your sensor suite, turn on radars. Yes, thank you. It's forward looking, but it is now able to engage, or maybe pinpoint this guy down a bit easier. I don't want you to swoop over there. These missiles have now been dropped, which is lovely, and which is what we kind of expected. You guys are still way too high. These guys have launched now 2 missiles against them. Pause, because we do know that something happened with this guy down here. And we do know now its depth. It's a Romeo class submarine, so an attack fleet submarine with actually very nasty torpedoes here, which probably, do we know anything about their range? Range 4 nautical miles. This guy itself has a speed of 12 knots. So this is important because now if we, I think our torpedoes also have a range of about 4 nautical miles, right? Where are they? Weapons? Warheads? Oh no, that is actually the torpedo. So 4 nautical miles at a speed of 40 knots. So they're about a third our speed. So if we launch at 4 nautical miles, they'll probably be able to outrun us, and that I wouldn't like. So we'll now be going towards them a bit more clearly, and they'll probably launch as soon as possible. How are things looking up here? This missile is on its way. These guys here are still very low. We are still very high. So we'll probably not be able to engage each other unless we just barely manage that, which we don't. Okay, let's start to turn around so we can maybe get them. That AMRAAM down there has self-destructed. Please turn around, please turn around, please fly towards there. Actually, please do use your radars. So you can spot these guys and home in your missiles a bit closer. Very, very nice. Yes. And we killed that unit. Which is very, very nice as well. And these guys, I think, can now go to cruise because we're not looking towards any particular threat right now. These guys still have a couple of sidewinders, so I think we will try to get this Hawkeye group down here. There is no particular air threat right now anywhere else, so these guys I think will be able to just stand off a bit, go on a high altitude, cruise, or even loiter, and well, go cruise. Setting. That should be very fine. So we won our first engagement, even though a couple of missiles were thrown towards our direction, but that should be fine. By the way, if you're considering what altitude you should be moving at, you can always see that there's a table down here where you can see the different fuel consumption. So you can see that at a sort of high altitude band, so sort of around here, I guess, the cruise speed, you're burning about 36,000 kilos of fuel per minute. If you're going the same speed at a lower altitude, you'd be burning much more. So this is really the reason why you're trying to be in this sort of higher band for long, sort of extended travel. You don't need to be on afterburner anymore, but military speed is certainly fine because we are actually trying to catch this guy down there. And this missile will probably self-destruct. Still these raiders, but that's fine. We also want to at least get a feeling of this stuff again, so we know what's going on. You are burning towards there. Let's see your fuel situation. It's looking pretty good. I kind of like that. Amram has run out of fuel. There's his Romeo class submarine down there. We hope that it hasn't spotted us yet. I think our sensors are slightly better than theirs. We'll probably see them launching more fighters soon, just to engage ours. Although I would hope that we can get this guy very soon. We might go on afterburner here actually, after all, so let's do that, even though it means we're burning fuel so much quicker. But then again, all I really want to do is toss a couple of sidewinders their way and be back on the way home. This will not engage because sidewinders with that range, you can see it's not that brilliant actually. It's a rather dangerous situation. So let's see. Burning hard. You are a bit brave, my friend, to come towards us like that. You're also still climbing, which I appreciate, because at that height we'll probably not be able to launch, so I think very soon we will dive down a bit as well. We could send these guys back, but I just want them as a backup, really. So let's also start to close in a bit more like that. Lovely, lovely. And by the way, do the sidewinders have any speed restrictions on launch? So can I actually launch them at nope, they don't, which is very nice as well. But they probably have an attitude. They're turning around a bit. Yeah, probably now they really saw us and get scared. They're still climbing though, which I find surprising. But it's actually not bad that they're turning away, because that means we will be able to face them from sort of a rear or side aspect, which will make it more likely that we are actually going to hit. I'm also going to tell you to drop down a bit, so we'll be more on the same sort of height like they are. We are losing some speed, which I think I don't want to happen to. Wait, What's going on? Okay. So here's another plane, and that probably just started. Another boogie, and that will probably be a job for you guys, because you have the much higher range. Whereas these guys really need to run home soon. But I really want to catch them. Although it might be a trap, really. We're so close to the so close to the radars over here that we'll probably see some ground anti-air stuff coming our way very soon. Come on, very close now. Very close now. 21. I think I want to be at 22. Dive down a bit. And I think we should be able to launch very soon. Let's pause for a second there and see whether there might be any manual target. Nope, DLZ, so we still think that they will probably be able to run away there, although that should be not an issue very soon. Guys, I don't think they... There we go. And because these are sidewinders, and sidewinders are not our primary weapons, I really want to manually allocate a couple of these guys. So you fire 2 more, you fire 1 more, so we have 4. We should be having 4 missiles coming up to this guy. Okay, but we do see a missile up here, so yeah, what I thought, that we do see now anti-air missiles coming in, so that's we were a bit too greedy, or it might have actually been a trap. So it might actually be this boogie already that's launching. So we will be trying to run away, certainly at afterburner. And let's try to get the minimum altitude here, so maybe we'll even lose these guys and check them off. We'll also turn off our sensors, so we are a bit less visible to them. These guys will also try to run around, and we'll just hope that some of our missiles hit this guy, and we don't get hit in return. Let's see if that works. We are dropping very low. We are burning a bit of, bleeding a bit of speed, but I really want to be moving away from these missiles as well. And there we go. One of the sidewinders actually hit, and these guys are down. So that's very lovely. This is probably another fighter, and the sidewinder here will also very soon run out of juice. This guy can also go to military, so these guys are a bit closer towards each other. Stay a bit away from the airfield, please. These missiles are still very dangerous. Try to run away from them in a sort of straight line. Really go to afterburner. You guys are really high. I actually think it was a mistake to drop that low, because that means... Oh yeah, it's another F-16. Yeah, I think they'll catch us, which is of course bad. So you know what, you guys, please burn ahead. Please come down there. And try to engage this guy soon. You guys are engaged defensively, probably? Yes, you are. Okay, let's hope for the best. So far we shot down 3 planes. I'd really like to go home without a loss here. If we can at all. Don't get hit. Don't get hit. Don't get hit. Yeah, but we're being illuminated, so... So, there we go. Decoy did not work. Defensive jammer did not work. And they hit with their first missile. Which is really, really disappointing. They only had a 30% chance, and they hit. Let's see if our other guy can do a bit better. Of course not. Of course not. The first here is a decoy that was a success, but then the second missile actually hit, also at a chance of 31. So that's really a bit of a disappointment right there. But of course you can't win all of the time. So it's 2-3 now. I think these guys really. Please go back to base. Just do that for me, please. That's fine. Since we can calm down a tiny bit now, I'm also going to look at this again, and here you can see that these guys with the MRAMs, or rather on our carrier over here, we have 10 Harriers, 8 of which are operational, and 4 of which are armed with an MRAM. I have no issue with that, but the Sidewinders here, I don't think they'd be very useful. 4 Sidewinders is a nice layout on short defense, but it doesn't serve us too well. So you guys are actually going to switch to an AMRAM configuration over there. Yes, so please do that, and you can see that now in 3 hours they'll be ready to the next configuration. Not that brilliant, but certainly doable. These guys seem to be going backwards. Let's see if we can initiate an attack down here. How far away are you actually? You are 5 nautical miles, so way beyond torpedo range actually. So that's fine, and we'll just try to get a bit closer there. Fine. These helicopters are still doing stupid things, but that's not that we can't avoid that really. So how are things looking here? Where's actually our squad of 4 guys? Still way behind. Yeah, so you can sort of see the value in a forward operating air base. But yeah, first losses here for both sides. A bit disappointing from my point of view, but we actually got rid of their early warning, airborne early warning thing, so that I really like. We can also think about these raiders down here, these ground-based raiders, whether we can do anything about them to sort of diminish their situational awareness, but we'll have to think about that next time. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next episode.